Kelsey, this headline popped up on my phone yesterday, and I found it interesting. Terry Stotts steps down as Bucks assistant days after incident at shoot around. And I said,
Mm.
this is peculiar because, I already been throwing shade on the NBA's new favorite team or one of them, the new favorites to win the
A
NBA
new favorite,
championship.
yeah.
Because I'm just like, y'all just be overlooking people real quick. But I thought this was really interesting. And a lot of times when things happen with a team's coach, I don't automatically, Chelsea, just like, I'm sorry, Kelsey, Lord have mercy. We were talking about
You're
the Aces
good.
earlier. Forgive me. Kelsey, a lot of times when things like this happen, I don't always react to it because, and especially with it being an assistant, because I think players often can play through like coaches, especially like great players, and the Bucks are already a
Right.
great team. But this one is more interesting because Terry Stotts is Dame's former head coach from the
Yeah.
Blazers. And he was going to be traded, I think, regardless. And he ended up with the Bucks. But I do think Terry Stotts being there was helping to ease that transition. Dame had already been on record speaking about like their sets and what they run. And it's very familiar to him because like they used to do it in Portland. So I am just wondering what effect this will have, if any, in terms of what they're going to do, because he was the top assistant. He wasn't like
Right.
lower in terms of the totem pole. So that's a big hit to your coaching staff. What does that mean for the Bucks, Kelsey?
That is the big question right now. And, I'm glad you talked about that because as we know, the big talk this offseason was Dame Lillard joining the Milwaukee Bucks. And when you go to a new place, Nat, the thing that you usually want is some familiarity. And like you said, he had a relationship with Terry for a long time. Terry has obviously a very long time history with the Portland Trail Blazers. So that to be said, I think when this news broke, it kind of came as a surprise. And if you've watched the head coach's Adrian, if you watched from his press conference, he even said this news came to him as a surprise. Now, of course, Nat, we're hearing that there was an altercation, basically a disagreement. And if there's anybody that you don't want to have a disagreement with, of course, it's going to be your boss. And essentially that is the head coach. But, to me, it said that it had to be to some large extent, Nat, that, right before the season, we're in the midst of NBA preseason. We're ready to tip off regular season. So for you to like step down, the timing was really interesting. And that's why for me, Nat, I'm like, my little journalist spidey senses are going up trying to figure out what exactly happened, right? Because like I said, the timing couldn't be worse. Now, do I think this will impact the Milwaukee Bucks? Get back to your question. Dame is still going to be Dame. Dame time is still going to happen. Giannis Antetokounmpo isn't going to wake up all of a sudden and bump his head and forget how to shoot that. All I have to say, like the Bucks, I think are still going to be a great team. But I think this does obviously kind of change maybe some of their schemes, that's going to be happening. Again, you're talking about a great, brilliant basketball mind that's now no longer on the staff. Now you have to scramble to try to fill a replacement or whatever they're going to do organization-wise. But again, I want more to come out from this, Nat, because I think there's a lot more that we're not hearing. It's messy right now in basketball, obviously. But yeah, for you to just, like I said, step down with this timing with your guy in Milwaukee, I just think there's so much more that needs to come out.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.